So this is a card of beauty and joy. It often represents granted wishes, unexpected income, any surprises of a good nature, basically. So timing with this card is usually around springtime. And appearance-wise, if you're looking at someone to represent, as a bouquet-like, it represents charming, smiling people who are fair-haired, often the same age or younger than the client, expressive eyes which are often blue, and they could be quite shy or have a just sort of like a quiet nature about them, so they're not overly exuberant. So health problems associated with this card are usually hay fever, sinus, allergies, styes on the eye, possible skin rashes, but it's more to do with things that are going around the head and neck area, because it's basically, allergies and so forth. So instead of doing the card before and after, I think we sort of progress to do the box square spread. And this is a really versatile spread. So from now on, I'll be using them so I can, relate to better show how the card works in an actual spread. So, of course, the focus card is the bouquet card. So that's what I've done. All I've done is I've actually asked, what will the bouquet bring us? Okay, so that's going to be the focus card. So if we're looking at the past, we've got the man, the bear, and the ship. So this often represents when the bear and the man come together. It can be a couple of things. It can represent someone from the law. Okay, but more often than not, it represents someone who has lived overseas, who is from overseas, or is currently there overseas, because we've got the ship as well. And because the bear is there, it can usually represent someone who is physically quite big, like a bodybuilder type sort of a person. They might have quite a hairy chest. They could be quite hairy in appearance as well. So that's sort of what's in the past of this. When we're looking at the present, we've got the ring, bouquet, and the star. So the ring would indicate that there is, because the bouquet is there, that the type of gift that it's going to bring is either going to be a contract, it could be a gift, because we've got the man that's, even though I'm not reading it yet, but the ring is beside the man, so it could be a gift from a married man. And it's going to answer a wish of yours in some way, because we've actually got the star underneath. So the star and the bouquet is like a double whammy of granted wishes. All right. So in the future, we've got the road, the snake, and the tower. So it's kind of interesting. So the road always represents changes, and it can represent road trips as well. So there could be someone in the future that is going to be going on a trip, but they're being a little bit sly about it. And because the tower is underneath, this could actually represent somebody who is older than you, someone who could be quite tall, looking like the tower, lanky and tall, older than you. And there's some kind of secret that maybe you want to go on this trip with them, but they want to be on their own. They want to be isolated when they actually go on this trip. So there's a little bit of sneakiness going on there. So we'll have a look further to what's going on. So then we've got the man, the ring, and the road. So this is a married man who is going to go on a trip, like a work trip or something like that. So that's what's on your mind. So your mind is on this trip that this male figure is going on. When we come to what's going on presently, we've got the bear, bouquet, and the snake. So this is kind of interesting, isn't it? So the bear and the bouquet sometimes can appear as a gift of a job, because the bear can represent business as well. So it could be someone, literally a bear bearing gifts. Someone there is gift, but because the snake is there, it's a little bit of slyness. So maybe they've been planning this to give you this gift for quite a long time, but they don't want to let you know about it for some reason. They're keeping it hidden, because the snake always represents slyness. But because the bouquet is with it, the bouquet has the power to make negative cards less negative. So we can look at the positive side of the actual snake. So perhaps even maybe this man has been a little bit sneaky. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they were unfaithful, or maybe they were having health problems, mental health problems or something like that. They've decided to go and get help, and that's their gift to you. They're going to change their skin. They're going to shed their skin and become a new person. So that's another way to look at that as well. So when we come to what kind of like the lessons that's all under control, or the bottom row is, is what you've already dealt with. We've got the ship, the star, and the tower. So this is a trip, and because the tower can represent the past as well. So this person may be physically going back on a trip into the past. It could be where they grew up or something of that nature, you know, but something of them in the past. And this is the reason they don't want you there. They need to do this on their own. But in doing so, it's going to grant you a wish in some type of way, all right? So we're going to look at the confirmation cards, which is the bear, the ring, the snake, and the star. So again, the bear and the ring can actually represent a contract. So of course, you know, marriage is a contract as well. So having the snake there as well, I feel like maybe there was some type of deceit that went on early on in the marriage or has just gone on in the marriage, and you're working on it, okay? And you know, the male in this, because it's definitely the male, is going to really try hard to change his ways. So we've got the snake there. So he's really shedding his old skin and trying to better himself and get help, okay? Particularly if it was an affair. But I think it's more, I don't know. It could be an affair, and it could be, you know, it could be that he's sick and refused to get help as well, and those on the lines. But the star is there, so it's definitely you're going to get a wish granted. And because the tower is the answer card, whatever these problems are, the answer to it is for him to go back into his past and face whatever it is that he's suppressed. So that is how the bouquet works. So even though we've got, like I've given you the actual words of a gift and granted wishes and things like that, but when you look at it as a general 9-card spread on what this card is actually going to bring us, because I just said what the question I asked is, what gifts is the bouquet going to bring us? So maybe for someone out there, this particular reading will have a specific meaning for them, you know. Not for me, because, you know, my husband is not hiding anything from me, so I can truly say that. But the funny thing is, with the gift, just before I actually made this video, I've been stirring him up. I'm a really big fan of Assassin's Creed. I absolutely love it. And of course, the Viking one is coming out, and I asked him if he could transfer some money so I can pre-order it. So maybe he might surprise me when he comes home from work and says that I can actually go ahead and buy the game. I don't know. But anyway, I thought it would be more interesting to do a block spread, as these are called, so you can actually see how a particular card works when you activate it, because you can choose any card to appear in for the middle card. You don't have to just shuffle them and whatever card comes out first is a focus card. I mean, that's what I usually do. That's what I do when I do our weekly readings. But you can actually choose a card that you want to know more about. So if you want to know about your husband, then use the man card. If you want to know about your wife, you use the female card. If you want to know about someone who you think is being a little bit shifty, then by all means put the snake card in there, or the fox card, or something like that. Whatever it is that you want to know more about, use the card that best represents what the issue is that you want to know more about. That's how these cards work. They're absolutely fantastic. So from now on, I'll be doing the readings like this, because I think I've done enough before and after ones, and you know, it gets boring. So also what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull a card, just see if we can get a clarification card from the Isabel Snail card about the bouquet. Isabel Snail Tarot, I should say, because I've been working with this deck a lot lately. I absolutely love it. So let's just see what this has got to say. Oh, actually 2 cards come out with this. Interesting. Oh, very interesting. So we've actually got the Devil card. And then we have got the 6 of Thorns, which is actually the 6 of Swords in this particular deck. So it's interesting that we had the slyness. So, you know, sometimes with the Devil card, and it's better the devil you know, and you might feel a little bit bound up or chained. So if this has been some sort of deceit going on in your marriage or your partnership, or even at work as well, but I do feel it's more with the relationship issues. It looks like that the key here is to move on. And when I said about him having to go back into his past to face something, well, these 2 cards actually clarify that quite well. So there you go. You can always, if you're not familiar with the Lenormand, is to pull some tarot cards. And you know, it doesn't have to be 2 just popped up for me. You can do a whole spread if you want to. It doesn't matter. You can actually pull 9 cards as well. So one card for each of these, a tarot card for each of the Lenormand cards, to see if you can get the message better. Anything to help you learn. I mean, that's what I used to do when I first started learning. Well, actually, it was the opposite for me. I found that I had a better connection with the Lenormand than I did with the tarot. So I'd do all my working out and asking questions of the Lenormand. And then what I would do is I would ask the same of the tarot to make sure that I was getting the right message, you know. So I would ask the question of the tarot, and then I would pull the corresponding Lenormand cards. That's what I meant to say, to make sure I was getting the gist of it. That's how I taught myself all those years ago, and it's a wonderful way. So if you're more familiar with one system, so if you're more confident with the tarot, you know, ask all the questions, everything of the tarot, and then pull the corresponding cards out from the Lenormand and see if you can gain more information. It's a brilliant way of learning this particular system. So until next time, or actually before I close off, I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to be doing this on the Sundays, this particular series. I'm going to be changing my week ahead readings on the Monday. It's just going to be a little bit easier for me to actually just to work things out. I think it's a lot easier if you do, you know, Monday to Sunday. So I'm just going to be swapping things around. So until next time, this is Tracy.